Muy buenos días a todas las personas que están conectadas en este momento. Mi nombre es Camila Flores, yo hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales y hoy estaremos realizando un webinar acerca del Reino Unido y para ello nos acompañan representantes de universidades como son University of Cranfield, University of Glasgow, University of Nottingham, University of Warwick, University of Sussex y University of York. Recuerden que para esta sesión, si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta, duda, inquietud, la pueden hacer en el chat que encuentran en la parte inferior de nuestras pantallas y estas serán respondidas al finalizar la sesión. En este momento le quiero dar la bienvenida a Luis. Luis, thank you so much for being here. You can now start the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Camila. Some of you may have seen me before, and the idea of this presentation today is to talk about the UK in general. At the very end, we're going to be talking about universities as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to wait until the end, or you will see at the very end our contact details, and you can email us directly. So now we're going to try to. Can I check that everyone is looking? Can see the screen? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So now we're going to introduce ourselves. Sandra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Silva, and I work at Cranfield University in London. Thank you all for coming.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jo Power, and I'm talking to you from Glasgow. So I'm from the University of Glasgow.
Hi, everyone. My name's Emma Palfreyman, and I'm speaking for the University of Nottingham.
Hi everyone, my name is Lorna and I'm from the University of Warwick in the centre of the UK.
Hello, as you know, my name is Luis Anyanguren. I am in lovely Brighton and I work for the University of Sussex.
Finally, I'm Jenny Gonzalez and I work at the University of York in the beautiful city of York. Welcome to the event.
So the presentation is going to be divided in different areas. The first one is factors to consider, then why to choose the UK, the international student support, the scholarships, employability, and then we talk about our universities. So hopefully this will give you a very nice picture of the UK and one of the reasons why, as a Latino, love it so much to be here and to study. So let's start because we love to talk and this is only an hour. So Lorna, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Great. Hi, everyone. Thanks again. So what I'm going to do is talk you through some of the different things that you might want to consider when you're thinking about which university you want to study at university, some of the different options. You know, it can feel a bit daunting when you come across so many different universities and so many different courses. So I'll try and talk you through some things that you might want to think about. First slide, please, Luis. Thanks. Okay, so what I've done here, obviously, you know, many students might choose business or something similar. I've taken that as an example today. And I went on the website of the University of Warwick and I came up with all of these different courses at the bottom that include the terms business or management. So this, you know, as a start shows you the massive volume of different choices that you can take within these courses. So, you know, by simply thinking, oh, I want to study business, that's not enough. You need to be looking in a lot more detail to make sure that you know that all of these different options are out there and to understand the differences to make sure that you're choosing the right course from you. Now, some of these courses that we've got here, they come from different departments. So obviously we have our larger business school, but then if you look in some of these courses, you'll see that we have things like medical biotechnology and business management. So you might get a more specialized course if you're interested in something else, but you can still link it to business because many people that take masters might be looking to do a more managerial role at the end. So you might be looking to specialize, but also looking for a bit more knowledge at the end of it. So this is really just to you know, introduce you to some of the different options and how much variety is out there. So how do you go about choosing these different options? So if I can have the next slide, please. Thank you. So there are lots of places where you can start to look. So obviously you can do rankings, you know, so there are rankings for universities, there are ranking by subject. So you can find all of the different informations on there. But by also looking at different university websites and going in to look at the different courses that's included, you know, are you looking for something that teaches more in lectures, or something that perhaps teaches in small groups in a more discussion and practical way? What works best for you? Do you want exams? Do you want essays and coursework? You know, if you do better in one than another, you can have a look, because it will show on the website how we assess, and you can start seeing whether you think this is the right course for you or not. You can also do a lot of different optional modules. So these images at the bottom, I'm sorry, it's quite small here, but I took these examples from our politics department to show you that if you wanted to study one particular subject, what normally happens is that you have a couple of core modules, perhaps 2 or 3, but that will depend on the subject, and then a huge range of optional modules that you can choose from. And you can see here I've got 4 different columns of optional modules that you can choose from, so you can really build your own degrees to find something that suits you. So if you know you want to study, you know, international relations or something, but you've got a particular interest to wanting to study US foreign policy or something else, have a check on the website to make sure that the university offers those particular modules, because that's what you will be learning, and that really will impact on your university experience and what you want to get out of it. Next slide, please. Thanks, Louise. Another thing that you need to look at are the entry requirements. So obviously, when you're looking at universities, different courses will have different requirements that they need from it. And in the UK, we use rather unusual rankings called first class, 2-1, 2-2. I think we're the only country, or that there aren't too many countries that use this. So it can seem a bit foreign, you know, compared to GPAs or scores out of 5. But we're all very experienced at equating them to you, so you can understand what might work better for you. But I've taken a couple of different courses as examples here for you, because if you look in politics, then all it asks is we have a degree in politics in a related subject. So most students might apply from a politics background, but as long as it's something similar and you can justify why you want to move on to this course through your personal statement, then you may well be considered for it. But if you look in economics, because that's much more of a focused course with mathematical content, and you need to be able to use what you've studied at your first degree, your bachelor's, then they're much more specific, saying no, you have to have studied a degree in economics, and you have to have got modules in macroeconomics, microeconomics. So it's really important that you read these different opportunities, because you don't want to waste money on an application only to find out that you didn't read the information properly and you won't be considered for it. So all of these things to bear in mind. Next slide, please. Thanks, Lisa. So I mentioned in the last slide, you've got things like 2-1, first class. And what we've got here, we've got the equivalencies. And what we've done here, we've pulled our equivalencies from different universities. So if you looked on any of our websites, you will get a more precise score. You know, one university might ask for a 4 out of 5 for a first class or something. So you need to go onto different university websites to understand that. But as a general idea, you can normally find that most universities will you know, say a first is between a 4 and a 4.5 out of 5, and a 2-1 might be 3.5 to 4. So it gives you a good idea of what you can be expecting, and you can check that against your own score to see whether it's going to be the right sort of course for you. Thanks, Louise. How much time should you allow for applying? Now, obviously, different universities will have their own processing times. When we were talking this through, and I wrote this slide saying 4 to 6 weeks, and some other universities are like, oh, that's very quick. So it's not the same case for all different universities. Louise, how long did you say that Sussex takes?
It also depends on the subject as well. So some departments could be quite quick. Others, PhD, it could take up to 3 or 4 months, depending on, you know, all the processes.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, different universities have different processing, take different times, and these times are just for the administration in the university. So if you're thinking of applying to external funding bodies that have their own deadlines, it's you that needs to take that into consideration to make sure that you are applying and you give yourself enough time to get that application to the university, to get decisions back, so that you don't miss any of those funding deadlines. That is entirely down to you. So it's important that you get that understanding for your own timeline when you're applying to universities, but also for the last minute things when you're coming to the university. It can take a while to get visas as well. So that's something else that you might want to bear in mind, regardless of whether you look for funding or not. It's still really important to make sure that you've processed your visa in time to start your course at the right time of year. Thanks, Louise. Another thing that you need to consider is English language requirements. Now, you don't have to have your English when you apply to university, but we will all ask that you demonstrate a level of English before you come and start your studies here. Again, different universities will have their own different requirements for it. Some are lower, some are higher, but we've all been doing this for many, many years, and it's the standards that we feel is best for you to do as best as you can on the course, because we don't want you to get to university and you've just not quite made your English, because you're paying a lot of money for this course, and we need to make sure that you're confident in expressing your ideas, in writing your essays. So it's really, really important that these levels of English are met. But again, different universities will have their different requirements. I will say that what we've got on here are some different examinations that can be taken, but not all universities might offer all of these different courses. So I think when we were talking through this, not all of our 6 universities will offer Duolingo. If you want to be on the safe side, everyone accepts IELTS. Most people accept TOEFL, but again, it's up to you to do your research. If you're applying to 4 or 5 universities, make sure that you're taking in an English test that is accepted by all 4 or 5 of those different universities, because there's no point paying for 2 different English tests if you don't have to. Thanks, Louise. Next slide.
Perfect. Now, this is me. I'm going to be talking about why I love the UK so much. One thing I want to say very quickly about IELTS and about later on, where we're going to talk about rankings as well. It's very important that you do your research, not only for the IELTS, how much IELTS you need or how good the university is. Rankings can help you, and they're a guide to not make a decision only based on rankings. Research the university, research the modules, as Lorna say, research the teachers. It's very, very important. This is going to be the best year of your life, and it's an investment, not only money-wise, but human-wise. This is going to change your life. So please make sure and talk to us. Ask any question you have, but do not base just your chosen university on a rank or on a ranking. So I can tell you about the UK and how amazing the UK is, then how welcoming to international students is, or the prestige of the universities. But you all know that that's why you're here. So the level of education in the UK is fantastic, and I studied here. I'm from Venezuela. You cannot hear my accent. Well, you hear my Latin accent in English, but you cannot hear my Venezuelan accent in Spanish, and I absolutely loved it. I loved my time here. I could talk as well about more interesting things, like, for example, all swans belong to the Queen. The British people drink tea like crazy. If you think Colombians drink coffee, you have to come here and see how much they drink tea. The accent changes every 25 miles, so almost every city, every town has a different accent, so get ready to get used to it. And please go to YouTube and look for the cheese rolling competition that takes place on Copper Hill in Gloucestershire. It's amazing. Also, if you feel brave enough, please try to pronounce the name of the longest town on earth, which is a Welsh town, which I'm not going even to try. But the most amazing thing about being a student in the UK is how they see Latin America. And that's one of the things I love the most. I look Arab, as if I don't talk, people usually believe I'm from the Middle East. But the moment I talk, the Latin accent comes out, and it's amazing. Everything changes. And that's one of the reasons I stay here so much, because I was never made feel like a second-class citizen, all the opposite. So the UK in general love the Latin culture. And I'm going to explain why. One of the reasons why is because for them, we're sun. Okay, one of the most amazing compliments I ever had. I was in Prague, in Czech Republic, and I went to a museum and to a gallery opening. And one of the Czech girls told me, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Venezuela." And she said to me, "I know you were Latino because all of you have the sun in your eyes." And that was an amazing compliment. And that's true. That's why they believe. Okay. We also have music and dance. So if you know how to dance salsa, you will make friends super quick. They really, really like. For example, the closest bar to my house is a jazz bar. And once a month, they have a cumbia live orchestra or a band. And it's all Brits, but they all talk cumbia, and it's absolutely packed. So it's an amazing experience. And I love that. Also, but the main thing is food. They absolutely love food. Don't tell all the British people here. The food here is not very good. So an amazing way to make friends is learn how to cook. It is arepas, obviously. For example, when I used to live in accommodation, once every month we used to turn. So I live with a Japanese, a Nigerian, a Russian, 3 English, and me. And all the overseas, once a week, we used to cook. So once a month, every 6 weeks, I did arepas for them. And that's an amazing way to make friends. And finally, football, because for them football is not a sport, it's a religion. So if you need all to go at least to one big football match, because it's amazing. And if, for example, if you all wear yellow and they think you're Brazilian, they all fall in love with you, because they have especially love for Brazil because of the football. But culturally, it's an amazing experience, and that's one of the things I love about the UK, because you won't believe it, but the difficulty is, the cultural shock will be there. You will see differences that you don't see back home, and you will see how the Brits are, and it will hit you. You will learn a lot to it. But the happier you are with university, the happier you are in the environment, the better you're treated, the easier is going to be the changes, and the easier is going to be the cultural shock, and that's going to be reflected in your studies. And that's why I believe this is an amazing country for us, because it is, they just love everything Latin American, and I have been here for 18 years, and I still love it. And I hope you see me, how much I love this country because of that. I can show you here very quickly. This is when I used to have hair, and I was a student, and I had an amazing time. That picture in the middle that is a show is going to appear now is I took 7 of my best friends, all British, to Venezuela when you could go to Margarita Island, and I promise you they came back slightly less white. But it was, it was an amazing experience, and you will have a beautiful experience here. Not only that, I don't have much time, but something is amazing as well. In all universities, we have more than 120 nationalities. You will meet people from all over the world. Europe is just super close. When I was a student, I visited 7 European countries and only paid the flight, because my European friends welcome me in their house and show me a different country. Just keep in mind that Europe is half of the size of South America, and it has more than 40 countries, and that is amazing. So this is not only an experience to study, this is not only an experience to learn, this is an experience, to become a world citizen, to really learn about different cultures and different nationalities and everything. And the fact that all universities have more than 100 nationalities on campus is amazing. Emma.
Oh, thank you, Louise. It's so good to hear that you had such a positive student experience. And something I can say is that universities in the UK, we all want international students to have similar experiences. And that's why we have so many different teams and support services in place. If you want to move on to the next slide, please, Louise. So these could be services before you arrive, so that could be any advice you need or visa support before you get here, but also holding international welcome weeks for when you arrive to make you feel welcome and to help you settle in. There are lots of teams and students during the welcome week to help you set up, take practical steps such as setting up bank accounts, registering at the doctors, because you will have access to the National Health Service when you're in the UK. But as well as the practical support, there are welfare officers, and they might be current postgraduate students who've been in your position and who can help you and support you with any questions you have. Faith support and counselling services, and there's definitely no shame in asking for help. And I'll talk to you a little bit about the things that universities have been doing through the pandemic, for example, to support students on campus. But safety and security is our #1 priority, so your safety is our top priority, and there's 24-hour security on our campuses, especially in accommodation as well. If it's a campus uni, you'll be assigned a personal tutor, so they'll be your go-to person. That's normally an academic member of teaching staff, but you can ask them about anything you need and they'll point you in the right direction. And in terms of the Students' Union, now Luis mentioned this before, he was member of lots of different societies. The Students' Union is a hub of support services, if you like. They can help you with independent advice, such as looking for a private accommodation, and that's where all the student-led societies are run from. So you could try anything you like, not just during Welcome Week, but throughout the year, and it's a great way to meet new people, try something new, and get to know the UK like Louise did as well. But if you just want to move on to the next slide, please, Louise. These are just a few of the things that have been in place that universities have been supporting students with on campus. So all our sports departments have offered online exercise classes. The student societies have organised socially distanced activities and online quizzes. There have been, you know, the same welfare services that you can expect all year round, even phone lines during the night that you can call if you like, but they're available all year. And there's always somebody in the accommodation blocks to support you as well. And obviously, during the pandemic, lots has been put in place on campuses so that you can feel safe, that everything's clean and hygienic as well. And you can see on the bottom, there are links to all the different chat unibuddy systems that all our universities offer. So you can go online, talk to a postgraduate student or about your course or about any other advice that you need as well. Thank you, Louise. And I think now it's over to Jenny to talk about scholarships.
Yes, I know we've had a few questions on the chat already. Everybody's really keen to hear this section. So this is super important, right? You know, what's your budget? Plan your budget. How much is this going to cost you? So Louise, if you put the figures up, again, there's different price points. So this is for master's degrees rather than PhDs. PhDs will be similar, often slightly cheaper. But you can see there's different tiers of funding here. So you've got lab-based courses, engineering sciences, where you're using technical equipment, non-lab fees, so typically things like international relations, history, English literature, those kind of degrees. Business and management often have a different fee rate. And then often the most expensive programs are around things like finance or MBAs. So we all have some kind of premium programs that attract a higher fee. But you can see typically you're looking at between about 25,000 to 38,000 if you're not doing kind of finance or MBA. Obviously, all of our institutions are working with Colfuturo. We have agreements with Colfuturo that mean that if you're awarded the support from Colfuturo, we will automatically give you discounts in your tuition fees. Different institutions have different discount agreements, but between 10% and 30% of your tuition fees will be deducted, say, as soon as you send us the letter proving that you have that Colfuturo funding. Now, you can see at the top there what you need to evidence when you apply for a visa in the UK is that you need to show that you can cover all of the cost of the tuition fees, or the reduced tuition fees, hopefully, plus the first 9 months of living costs. Which if you're outside of London is £1,015 per month. So I've done the sum for you there. So this is what you're looking at, right? And you can get, you can apply for up to $50,000 US from Colfuturo. So how do you make your money go further? So if we go on to the next page, all of our institutions offer university scholarships, and quite often we have central scholarships, maybe administered through the international office or a scholarships team, and then quite often there are other awards given within certain departments or for particular degree programs. Now, in most cases, that can be combined with the Colfuturo discount, but you can see a couple of our universities, they would give you the bigger award. So whether their university scholarship was larger or the Colfuturo discount was larger, you would get the bigger discount, and you may not be able to combine in all cases. So, you know, check that out. Deadlines are really, really important. So although for CoFuturo, you don't need to have the offer in place, you don't need to have met your English language condition when you initially apply, you may find that for some of these university scholarships, you need to have an offer in place, whether that's a conditional offer, maybe you haven't quite graduated yet, so you don't have your final degree certificate, or maybe you are still waiting to take an IELTS test or a TOEFL test to meet your final English language condition. So you need to kind of be aware what the deadlines are, and, you know, do you need an offer in place first? Because that might take, we saw it in Lorna's presentation, that might take 6 to 8 weeks to receive the decision after you've made your online application. So kind of planning in advance to make sure that you don't miss out on these scholarship opportunities. So our web pages are the best place to check for scholarship information. And if we go on to the next slide, Luis, oh, that's a summary of PhD as well. I'm not sure how many PhD candidates we've got in the room. There is some great news for PhD students coming to the UK this year. And that is that our UK research councils will now allow international students to be awarded scholarships for funded PhD projects in UK universities. So previously this was extremely limited and really only open to UK and maybe EU students. But now up to 30% of the total scholarships available on a funded PhD project can go to international students. So this is brand new. This only was announced about 1 month ago. Lots of universities are still working out how to administer this, but it's a new opportunity. So start looking. Again, lots of universities will publish specific projects on their web pages. So,
Emma, sorry. Very quickly, can you talk about do you have PhD scholarships available, which are not there?
Yeah, so that's shown on the table there, I think. You can see which institutions offer scholarships for PhDs, which is most of us, I think. Nottingham, Emma, can you tell us whether you have PhD scholarships?
Hi, Jenny. Yes, we do actually. We're just waiting for them to be published, probably in January time. So there's no confirmation yet, but normally we do have a PhD Excellence Award, yes.
Great. So you can see that actually for PhD scholarships, deadlines typically fall in January. So if you're thinking to start kind of this September or next January, you need to really start this process right now before the Christmas vacation period. So now is the perfect time to get underway with your application. Luis? With some tips for scholarships. And so one of the key ones is to research, check websites, be aware not all scholarships are published yet. So as Emma was just saying, her PhD scholarships at Nottingham, they're not on the web pages. If you check today, you might think there aren't any, but if you check again, maybe the middle of January, then information will be published. I know at York, our main master's scholarships will be published towards the end of January. So keep checking back. Could you go on one slide and I'll come back to the external?
That one.
By the way, yeah, so, and really apply for everything you're eligible for, right? If you are in a situation where you have 3 or 4 scholarship offers and you have to actually turn 1 or 2 of those down, that's a really enviable position to be in. You know, that is the dream, really. So you have to be, as we say, you have to be in it to win it. Make sure you're applying in good time, you have the offer in place so that you're eligible and you have your name down for as many of these scholarships as you can. And my final tip is really to understand the different types of scholarships. So some scholarships are going to be based more on financial need. Others might be purely based on grade averages and based on academic excellence. Others might be more about what your contribution is going to be to society when you're in the UK, when you return home to Colombia. Departments might be looking at students who really align with the research interests of that particular department within our university. So someone who's a really good fit for the kind of work that we're already doing at our university. So understand, because not all scholarships are assessed on the same basis. Don't just use the same statement again and again and again. Tailor your application. That will make you more likely to be successful. If we go just back one slide, there are some external opportunities beyond what the universities themselves offer. So just put a few of those on here. EasyTex and Conscientias are obviously based in Colombia. You've probably heard of them already. The Chevening scholarships, big UK government funded scheme. You do need a couple of years of work experience, but for 1 year master's degrees, all the costs would be covered for a Chevening scholar. And I know certainly Luis at Sussex for Development Studies gets a good number of Chevening scholars every year. I know that we had a student, Lenis, from Colombia this last year doing green chemistry with us. And she's now working on a project on biorefineries between the UK and Colombia. So it is too late for this year if you haven't already applied for Chevening. Deadline is usually the beginning of November, but if you're looking to start September 2022, Chevening, I say, is a fully funded master's scholarship, could be of interest. And then York and Cranfield have 5 scholarships for female science, health science, engineering students to join us this September 2021. So this is due to be announced by the British Council next month. Deadline is likely to be March. So if you're female and you're in kind of biological sciences, chemistry, engineering, any of those kinds of areas, look out for that opportunity, because again, they're fully funded master's scholarships. Thank you.
Oh, that's me. Thank you, Jenny. That was great. Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about employability and why the UK is a top destination from students from all over the world who choose UK to proceed their studies. And that is because our graduates are highly sought professionals, and the UK academic level is quite high. So if we combine that with a master's degree being 1 year and a PhD being normally 3 years, students see a very good relationship between quality and cost, which is always something, you know, that everybody has to consider. So at the UK or British universities, we take employability of our students or graduates quite seriously. We want to see you thrive in your chosen careers. You put your trust and your hopes in our studies, in our programs, and we want to give it back, that trust, by supporting you in your future career. So across different universities, we have different services, but most of us have, or all of us has, a career services where a trained team will prepare you to do your CV, how to prepare for interviews. We often have job fairs on campus. We provide you networking opportunities with companies that work with us. And an endless service that is normally available even after you graduate. So that connection to the university continues even after you leave us. Okay, next slide, Louise. So we're talking here about the graduate route, which is also new and started this year. I'm going to apologize because I noticed that in between the brackets there, I put substitutes the tier 4 visa, but it doesn't. It substitutes the tier 2 visa as a work visa. So what does the graduate route means to you as a student in the UK? So if you're familiar with our immigration routes, you would come to the UK on a tier 4 visa. And if you wanted to stay and study in the UK, you would need a work visa. So now the UK government is very keen in attracting even more international students to the country. So they altered this rule, and all the students who graduate in the summer of 2021 will be allowed to stay in UK for 2 years without changing the visa and be allowed to work at any skill level. If you find a job in your area and it's considered a skilled job, you can switch into the work route. So this comes to simplify a lot the paperwork and red tape that a graduate would normally have to go through in order to stay and work in the UK. So you'll see there a message from our Minister for Frontier Borders. What's the intention of launching this scheme in the UK? We want to attract the best and the brightest to our universities, and we're very glad that the government is now supporting our mission. And next slide.
Can I say something very quickly, Sandra, before we continue? There's something that you need to have very clear. And if you're applying for a scholarship, you need to check with your scholarship body what are the different policies or the different or how the agreement goes, because many of them, like Chevening, does not allow you to do this. So always check with your scholarship sponsor how is the contract you're about to sign, because at the end it's a contract you're signing with them. Because in the case of Chevening, it doesn't allow you to work. You have to come back for 2 years to Colombia, because Chevening wants to create leaders, and so the idea is you go back. Same with Colfuturo. Some things will change if you decide to stay. So again, research is key to what you do, and communication with your sponsors is very, very important. Yes, the UK gives you the opportunity, but the idea is do your research so it doesn't surprise you when you cannot stay or where conditions on your sponsorship changes.
Okay.
Sorry, Sam.
No, thank you, Luis, very much for clarifying that. And my next slide is on alumni chapters. So I mentioned that the relationship with our students doesn't finish when you graduate and leave campus. So we always want to hear from you and always want to check how you're doing. So the way we do that is we keep in touch through our alumni chapters, our alumni relations departments. We host regular meetups in country, and we provide networking opportunities, be either at professional or social level. So we know that a year or 3 years in UK, as Louise mentioned in his presentation, has a big impact on your life, and how Louise lights up when he mentions his, oh, look at that smile, on his experience. So we want to foment, to keep promoting that, and that you don't lose touch with your colleagues, or you can help, other prospective applicants from, for instance, Colombia, who wish to study in UK, and you can provide and share information and share your experience with them. So I'm sure that you had questions. You have questions. So if we can put you in touch with our alumni, they can share their experience with them, share tips, information. I always get questions, where to find the best, supermarkets, or where you can find food from home. So alumni are a great way we keep in touch, and they are happy to support us and you as a prospective student. So we do that as individual or group of universities, but also British Council and Chevening also host events in your home countries. So this photo is actually from a Chevening event in Bogota, and I would just love the pictures. I would love to know where that building is. Okay, so just so you know, once you study in UK, that relationship is for life. Thank you. Oh, and that's me again. So as I introduced myself in the beginning, my name is Sandra. I work for Cranfield University. At Cranfield, we create future leaders in technology and management, and that's the only thing we do. We are a very specialized and exclusively postgraduate university. We are located, as I said, north of London in the Oxford-Cambridge arc. And we are a campus, oh, sorry, Louise, could you do next slide? And next slide, yes. So we are a campus-based university with extensive research facilities, an attached technological park for startup companies, for spin-out companies from our research, and we have our own airport on campus as well. Next slide, Louise. Okay, so 2 seconds, something wrong here. So at Cranfield, we focus mostly in commercial research in collaboration with industry partners. So as other universities do a lot of academic research, we work together with companies to deliver transformational research. So this is some of our rankings and awards, but we're also ranked world top 50 in engineering, mechanical, aeronautic, and manufacturing. Louise? Yeah, next slide. So these are the themes or the areas of specialism that we have in Cranfield. So aerospace, defense and security, energy and power, environment and agri-food. So this is for future food or sustainability, manufacturing, the School of Management, transport systems and water. And next slide. And what makes Cranfield special is our research facilities. So you see here our flying classroom, our air traffic management virtual simulator, our wind tunnel testing facilities, and our F1 crash test center approved. So we're 1 in 3 in Europe that can do crash testing for Formula 1 cars. Next slide, please. And we continue with our facilities. For water, we have our own water treatment station on campus, our greenhouse for plant growth facilities, our forensic institute where we have our virtual autopsy tables and we can do mass grave digging simulation, and our wave tank where we do research, for instance, in renewable energy. Next slide, please. And these are some of the companies we work in partnership worldwide, which means our students, when they do projects during their master's degree, they can do it in partnerships with one of these companies. Okay, Louise, thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, and over to me. Hi, everyone. So I'm Jo from the University of Glasgow. So the first thing I should say about Glasgow is that we're located up in Scotland. So you can see from the map there, we're in the west of Scotland, just on the central belt. We're the largest city in Scotland. So we have a population of 1 million. Okay, thanks, Louise. So that's me. We can just move to the next slide. So just a few key facts about Glasgow, and all of our slides have got some nice pictures of our campus because the campus has a real feel of Hogwarts for any Harry Potter fans out there. So it's a really lovely looking campus right in the middle. It was built in the 18th century. So we are one of the top 100 universities in the world. We have very good world rankings in the Times and also in the QS as well. We're also very well ranked for student satisfaction among the Russell Group universities, and the Russell Group is a little bit like the Ivy League if you're comparing the UK and the USA, and a lot of the universities here in this group are Russell Group universities. It just means that we focus quite a lot on research, and that research will come into the teaching that we offer you as well. We have quite a lot of students at Glasgow. We're quite a large university, 29,000 students from over 140 countries. Okay, thanks, Louise. Just a little bit about Scotland as well, because all of my colleagues here are from English universities. You can probably tell from my accent that I'm not actually Scottish, so I apologise for that because I know that can be disappointing. But I actually have an English accent. I am English, but I moved up to Glasgow about 4 years ago, so I'm still relatively new in town. The The country itself of Scotland has its own landscape, has its own kind of atmosphere and feel to it. So I think a lot of Latin Americans really enjoy coming up to Scotland. The picture you're looking at there is of Loch Lomond. So that's a lake, we call them lochs in Scotland, and is only 40 minutes away from Glasgow by train. So you don't even need a car to get to it. So all of these landscapes are virtually on the doorstep if you come to a place like Glasgow. Okay, next slide, Louise. And then just a little bit about the city. The picture you're looking at here is of the River Clyde. So this is where all of our industry was located many years ago. The main industry we used to have in Glasgow was shipbuilding, and we were one of the largest cities in the UK with the largest industries. We're now the 4th largest in the whole of the UK and the largest in Scotland. Those buildings you can see in the picture are some of our large music venues. So if you are coming to Glasgow, then you can expect most big names will be performing. If they're doing a world tour, they'll be performing in Glasgow in one of these venues. There's not much happening right now, of course, due to the pandemic, but we hope that things will start to get back to normal within the next maybe 6 months. Let's hope that everything works out well with the vaccines. So a few other key facts about Glasgow. It's a really nice place to shop. It's a very green city, even though we're located within Scotland, which is obviously very green and beautiful. We have a lot of green spaces within the city as well, so you can really have a really nice quality of life in the city. Okay, next slide. Thanks, Louise. This is really just to outline what we offer at Glasgow. As I said, we're a large university. We offer most subjects. So there are a few things we don't do. We don't do architecture. We don't really focus on oil and gas, even though we are located in Scotland. But we have most other subjects on offer. And on top of that, we also have our Erasmus Mundus programs. So we have around 8 of those now, which are 2-year master's programs that are offered in conjunction with other partners, usually in Europe, other European countries. I mention these because they seem to be very popular with our Colombian students. So we have a lot of Colombians applying for these programs. So if you have any questions about those, do let me know. Okay, so that's me. That was a bit of a whistle-stop tour and a lovely picture of the campus to leave you with. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Louise. Hi again, everyone. I'm Emma again from the University of Nottingham. This is just to give you a snapshot of the university. For those who don't know the UK yet, as you suggest on the map that was on the previous slide, Nottingham is right in the centre of the UK, right in the heart of England. It's less than 2 hours from London actually by train, so it's 1 hour 45 minutes. Nottingham's a really friendly, vibrant, historic city. It's a UNESCO City of Literature as well, and relatively small compared to others. If we go on to the next slide, please, Louise. The university is a campus university, as you can see in the image there. This is our Trent building, a listed building on our main campus. Nottingham is one of the Russell Group universities, similar to Glasgow. So we're a research intensive university, and we rank top 10 for research in the UK and top 100 in the world. We have campuses in China and Malaysia actually, so that provides an additional opportunity for our students to study at those campuses, either for a semester, to study part of your degrees or masters there, or you can study your full course there as well. We have hundreds of links with global employers. All universities in the UK have these links, and it gives you the opportunity to network. So we invite employers to the university, and these are some of the reasons why we rank in the top 100 for employability as well. Last but not least, our Sports University of the Year, as you can see on this campus. Our David Ross Sports Village is located here. This campus you can live on, and you can practice sports at your leisure and as an elite athlete if you wish. Just moving on to our range of courses. These are our 5 faculties. There are opportunities not just for postgraduate talk but in research as well. Please feel free to drop me a line afterwards, and I can talk to you about lots of the different subject areas you can study and some of our strengths as a university. Education, economics and law are some of those, but we offer lots of others, so I'm happy to give you more information. And the last slide should be a bit more information on the city itself. This is, you might recognize the house in the image. This was Batman's house in The Dark Knight Rises, but this is another beautiful green area. Nottingham's located in a really green area and close to some of the national parks. And this is where students can go just across from our campus as well. So it's a really friendly student community on campus, and you'll feel at home quickly. And if you want more information, I can let you know afterwards. And I think it's over to Lorna next to talk about Warwick.
Thank you, Emma. Hi again. So similar to Nottingham and Cranfield, we're based, fairly centrally in the UK. We're quite close to the city of Birmingham, which is the second largest city in the UK. The advantage of being in the middle means it's never too far to get anywhere, whether it's up north, down south, left, right. But the university is very small, so it doesn't take long to get anywhere in the UK. It takes an hour to get from Warwick down to London. I don't think you can even cross Bogota properly in that time, really, so that the distances are very small. Can I have the first slide, please? Thank you. So like I think all of my other colleagues here today, we are a campus university. We have about 27,000 students on our campus, and we're really international in terms of about 1/3 of our students come from outside of the UK. We have 3 different faculties at Warwick. We have arts and humanities, social science and engineering, science and medicine, and I will put our study pages in the chat if any of you are interested in looking in more detail. We don't really have time now, but please feel free to have a good look. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So obviously we have our 3 main faculties. I thought I'd just highlight on our business school for you all initially. So you can see from some of the rankings that we have for our finance courses, we are ranked in the top 50 in the world for our business and accounting courses, and many of our courses are listed in the top 50, top 20 in the world for some of them. So it truly are elite courses that we offer at the University of Business, at the business school at the University of Warwick even. But we also have different departments that focus on business. So I mentioned earlier on all of the different courses that are related to business. It would once again depend on, are you looking for something that's more corporate, or you're looking for something that's a bit more operational, because we also offer courses that are related to operations management and engineering management and those sorts of areas. And I'll go through very quickly the last couple of slides. So these are our business courses, which are, a little bit more corporate. And then the next slide is linked to the one that's a little bit more operational. So you can see they're all business related, but have a slightly different focus on them. But what I will say for you, if you do want to know more information, is that we are having an open day next week. So I'll put that in the chat as well. So if you do want to come and hear even more information about the University of Warwick, you can come to some subject specific sessions, and we'd love to see you there for some of them. So I'll hand over to Luis now.
Hello, and this is me. I'm Luis. I obviously work for the University of Sussex. We are located in the south of the UK, in the amazing city of Brighton, which I love. I'm gonna be very short and very brief, because there is a whole presentation with me in Spanish in Futuro. So I think if you have heard it or seen it, you know a lot about Sussex. That is our campus with the amazing city. We are very well known for development. We are #1 in the world. We have been for 4 years running. And to give you an example, or to put things in perspective, Harvard is #2. What makes us an amazing university so good in international development and development studies is that every single department that teaches is also a think tank. So for example, SPRU is a public policy department, and they work with the Colombian government in el libro verde de sostenibilidad. So was actually made in 2018. It was made by the Colombian government and the University of Sussex. This is some of the most popular masters we have in development. And of course, one of our most famous alumni is the Presidente de Costa Rica, Carlos Alvarado Quesada. I can send you a link of an interview the university had with him last Monday, so 2 days ago. And finally, Brighton, which is very quickly the city where I live. I have lived 18 years in the UK, 4 different cities, and my favorite city is Brighton. It was voted the hipster capital of the world, and it's a city of hippies and come flores, as I say it. And that is the new, touristic slogan. Welcome to Never Normal Brighton, and it's amazing, and it's so true. So you're going to have an amazing time. Very quickly, now I pass it to Jenny.
Very quickly, thank you. So welcome to York. We're in the beautiful county of Yorkshire, the biggest county in the UK, in the north of England. The UK is small, we're a tiny island, as other colleagues have said. Even though it seems like we're further north, you can still get to London in 2 hours. I say you can easily spend that in traffic in Bogota. Yeah, so yeah, we are a small country, and York is still accessible to cities like Manchester for football. Leeds is only half an hour away, so close by. This is our campus, again, another campus university. We can guarantee you accommodation on campus if you want it, or there's plenty of private sector accommodation in walking distance from the campus as well. Two things you'll see lots of in York. Birds, water birds. So we have a campus full of geese, swans, ducks. If you hate ducks, don't come and study at the University of York because they are everywhere. And the other thing you see a lot of are bicycles. So cycling is really popular in York. It's a very flat city, so no big hills to go up. And it's a really economical way of getting around as well. Buy a second-hand bike when you arrive. So if you know how to cycle, York's a great place to indulge that. Next. So just a few stats, I think a few key things to pick out here. We're a slightly smaller university, but I say smaller, we still have 18,000 students, with nearly a quarter of those from outside the UK. So still very much a very international feel. And we're one of 2 universities in the city of York. So a big student population. We're most known for our arts and humanities programs, where we're ranked 45th in the world, and we're top 100 in the world for our social sciences faculty. We have some strong science programs, but we focus more on kind of high-tech, nano, things like green chemistry, biotechnology. We are not a heavy engineering school, so a lot of things that maybe some of the other colleagues would offer. We don't do civil, chemical, we don't do any of those big engineering subjects. So next. I've made a list here of some of our most popular programs that in recent years for Colombian students. Obviously, you can apply for any of our programs, but these are the ones that I've seen lots of interest. So Peace and Conflict Studies, this was previously our Masters in Post-War Recovery Studies. It's recently been renamed. Really practical, hands-on program, opportunity to do a placement in either York, which was the UK's first human rights city, or to go to South Africa as part of that program. I know someone in the chat's already been asking about film and TV production, 5 different pathways to offer. Again, really kind of hands-on master's programs in film and TV production, which I know is a growing industry in Colombia. Our social policy department, lots of programs there. We're ranked 10th in the whole world for social policy. So it's not a department that every university have, but it's a real strength at York. Within economics, a big economics department, but there's certain things that we're really very well known for, and that is our Centre for Health Economics, which if you have any knowledge of health economics, you will have heard of York, you will have read publications from York, you will know about us already. And econometrics is another area. And kind of based around economics, environmental economics. So again, environmental management is a program that you'll find in lots of universities, but this combination of environmental economics with environmental management, I think is something quite unique that York offer. And I already mentioned our Chevening graduate, Lenis, who studied our green chemistry degree with us last year. And then a couple of other examples there of recent Colfuturo supported master's degrees at York. So it's really important for Colfuturo that you're able to explain why this is a world leading program. So I say where you can see that there's been students previously supported in that area, that's helpful. You know, that's a good clue that it's been given a good ranking by Colfuturo, and Colfuturo can help you, I believe, with that kind of information. So just then literally a few pictures of the city of York. It is absolutely spectacular. Go to Google Images, take a look. It's a city of history. It was important Viking settlement, Roman. You can see the Roman walls there. You can still walk around the city walls. And then you have all of these medieval winding streets in the city centre. Again, very green, very safe, really friendly. So I've been here about 7 years. I love it. It's such a beautiful, charming place to live, very much its own character. And yeah, I think that's about all we've got time for, but you can make bookings with me. You know, you've got email addresses if you want a 30-minute WhatsApp call or Skype chat or something. You can book that with me and find out more about York. So thank you for your time.
Fantastic. You have all the details, contact details, and then you know, there. Please feel free to contact us. I'm not sure we have enough time to Q&A because obviously I say we love talking, and we, as you can see, we do. So do we have time, Camila, for a few questions or no?
Yes, Luis, I'll be doing a couple of questions, but if you have any further questions or if your questions haven't been responded on the chat, you can contact them and they'll be very open to help you out. So the first question would be, could you tell me what my budget should be in order to stay at the campus?
Who wants to answer that? I think I can answer it. It will depend. I think usually I may lose this one. For Brighton, every city will be a different one. So usually the north tends to be slightly less expensive than the south. So in my case of Brighton, £11,000. So the accommodation is about £6,000, and living expenses for a year will be about £11,000 a year. And you live okay. You can spend much more than this. This is just an approx. So that with £11,000, you live okay. I don't know the rest of the university.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the visa, then they guarantee it's £1,015, isn't it, a month? You know, that they suggest as the typical cost of living. Sometimes it'll be more expensive. You can do it cheaper, but you have to prove you've got at least 9 months of funding to support yourself for living, which should be just over £9,000.
Thank you. The next question is, what can you tell us about the visa extension for 2 years after finishing the master? And I think this is also very related to if you can work afterwards.
So maybe I can answer that with Louise clarified that before you think about staying in the UK, you need to research your scholarship conditions if you have one. But what is going to happen for students who are graduating in next year from a British university? They will be allowed to stay in UK for 2 years without needing to change their visa. So there's a visa extension for 2 years, and that is granted automatically.
I think you do have to apply, Sandra. So it's two years for masters and 3 years for PhD. So you automatically would get 4 months at the end of your degree, and then you would make an application to the graduate route if you want to stay longer.
Thank you, Jenny, for clarifying that. I had the impression that was automatic, but the message is it's a lot easier now than it was previously. So it's a good step, probably not perfect, from the UK government in allowing the graduate route.
Thank you. The next question is, if I get Colfuturo, would that funding be part of the visa evidence, or would I still need to evidence that I have the money in my own account?
I feel very nervous answering anything related to visas. So,
from my understanding, obviously, because Cofuturo is a loan, that whatever money you're awarded would go towards what fees you're needed. But if you go to a course that has, that's more expensive and you need to cover your course costs and your living costs, then it might not cover absolutely everything. So, it can certainly be used towards it. It would depend on the cost of the course and living costs as to whether it covers absolutely everything or not.
also, the reason why I think none of us feel very comfortable with visas, I think if you have any visa-related question, it really is the British Council, the British Embassy, because they're trained with that. We are more in the academic part of things, so the of the expensive type of things. When it comes to visa, we have to be very careful what we advise, because they also change very quickly. So, and it depends actually of every country as well. So your best bet is to go to the Colombian British Embassy and ask them, what do you need? That would be my advice.
Yeah, thank you. And for the last question, I think we'll be asking quite a frequent one, and it is, do you have an age limit to apply to the 6 universities?
Nope.
No, we don't.
Age is not a problem at all.
Thank you very much. And thank you all of you for being here, for doing the presentation, and for answering all of the questions verbally and also through the chat. And quiero recordarles a todas las personas que están conectadas que esta grabación la van a tener los próximos días en nuestro canal de YouTube, por si ingresaron tarde o por si quieren repasar la información. Y también recuerden que en este video van a encontrar todos los correos de las personas que están representando a las universidades, en dado caso quieran contarles su situación o quieran hacer algunas preguntas un poco más específicas. Again, thank you so much for being here and have a very nice day.
Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Gracias.
Yes,
Gracias. Tengan buen día.
Gracias.